This quick bread is one of our fall favorites. The pumpkin and the oil will make this bread so soft and moist. We add a buttery, crumbly streusel topping. It's quickly going to become one of your favorites too. The recipe, the measurements, the ingredients, they're all in the description below. I have links there for tools that I use and love. I am excited to get started. Print that recipe off and we'll get going. First, you want to turn your oven to 350 degrees or 175 Celsius. We want this to be nice and hot when we put our bread in. And next, you want to prepare your bread pans. I have here an 8.5 by a 5.5. That's what I'm going to use. You can also, if you only have a 9-inch, you can use a 9-inch. The difference is in the smaller pan, it's going to be a little more narrow and a little more domed. This will be spread out just a little more. Either one is fine. I would recommend using parchment paper. We will be putting streusel on top of the bread, and to invert it would make it really messy. So this helps for an easy release. If you want to learn how to do this, make the folds, you can just check out this link here. It'll give you a nice little tutorial on how to cut and fold to do this. If nothing else, I would at least recommend you make like a sling. You would spray with some baking spray the sides so that it does not stick. And then I would just put the parchment paper in there. That way you at least have an easy release for your bread. The first thing we're going to do is make our streusel. You need 1 cup of all-purpose flour. That is 125 grams. You need a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. That is 55 grams. And a 1/4 cup of white sugar. That is 50 grams. You need a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. That's 1.5 grams. We need a 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. That is 1.5 grams. We're going to give that a stir. Basically, we're making sure that the dry ingredients are all mixed together and we're breaking up the brown sugar lumps. Next, we're going to add in 6 tablespoons of unsalted, really soft, room temperature butter. This is 84 grams. And you just want to work this into the dry ingredients. This butter is going to bind all the loose ingredients together. Okay, this is about done. So basically what you have here is, it kind of looks like a wet sandy texture. We're going to just place this in the refrigerator until we need it. It'll keep it nice and cold for when it goes into the oven. Next, we're going to combine our dry ingredients, and you do want a nice large bowl because ultimately everything is going to be going into this bowl, all ingredients. So you want to do 1 cup of all-purpose flour. That's 125 grams. A 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. That's 3 grams. And 1 teaspoon of baking soda. That is 6 grams. Baking soda typically needs an acid to activate it, and the pumpkin is somewhat neutral but a tiny bit acidic, so the baking soda will be activated and produce a little bit of lift in carbon dioxide bubbles when it gets into the oven and it's exposed to heat. So we're going to mix this together. And our dry ingredients are ready. That's as simple as that can get. Now we're going to do our wet ingredients. Grab another large bowl and add 2 large eggs to it. These are at room temperature. And we're going to add 1 cup of granulated sugar into that. That's 200 grams. Grab a whisk, and you want to just mix this until it's fully combined, and you'll notice the color is a little more pale, and that's when we'll stop. So whisk it for like 2 to 3 minutes. It's been a couple of minutes. The mixture is smooth. It's lighter in color. We're looking for that ribboning effect. When you hold your whisk up, you should be able to see like a ribbon. It just kind of forms a ribbon on top of itself. So this is good. Now we're going to add vegetable. This is actually canola oil, any kind of a neutral flavor oil. You can't even use olive, but it would change the flavor just a bit. So again, this is canola oil. We're going to add this in while we're stirring. So we want to make sure this is nice and incorporated before we move on. This is 3/4 of a cup or 175 milliliters. This just gives it a good chance to completely blend with the eggs and the sugar. This should take about 1 minute. Now we're going to add 1 cup of pumpkin puree. I need a spatula. This is 100% pure pumpkin. Don't mistake this for pumpkin pie filling. That has sugars and spices in it. This is 100% pure pumpkin. Then we're going to add vanilla in here. This is 2 teaspoons. That's 10 milliliters. And last, we're adding 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. That's 10 grams. We just want to combine this, give it a nice whisk till it is all completely combined and smooth in texture. Once your mixture is smooth, then you add this into your dry ingredients. And we're almost done. Just going to pour that right into the flour mixture. Grab your whisk again and just mix until smooth. While I'm doing this, I'll just explain. You don't want to whip it or do this aggressively. Just very smooth, gentle motion till you see all of the dry particles disappearing. Also, in this period of time, if you want, this would be a good time to stir in chocolate chips if you want. You could also do pecans or walnuts. Probably no more than 1/2 cup, but this would be the time you would stir that in. Make sure you get to the bottom of the bowl just to make sure you have all the dry ingredients mixing in. We're almost there. Once you feel like you have it nice and smooth, you want to pour it into your prepared bread pan. Okay, we're going to put this in our pan. So this will self-level for the most part, but I am going to just make sure that it's in the corners of the pan. A rule of thumb generally is just like a cupcake liner. You want to make sure this is no more than 2/3 of the way full, or you could, overflow your pans. So we're right in the good zone. Now I'm going to grab the streusel. Okay, I'm going to just squeeze some of this in my hands so that I have some larger lumps and some smaller lumps. Just makes it look a little prettier. If you see me not using all of this, I did make a little extra. So we'll see here. Just sprinkle it on top. I will say another benefit to using parchment paper is you don't run the risk of it overflowing in your oven because this parchment paper holds everything in just beautifully. There we have it. So we're putting this in the oven. I'm going to say for 60 to 70 minutes. And I will check it in 60 minutes. See you soon. Okay, the timer went off. The bread has been in here for 60 minutes. It does not look done yet, but I'm going to check. The toothpick. Nope, not even close yet. So I'm going to give it another 10 minutes. The last time I baked this, I baked it for 70, but I just wanted to make sure. So the bread has been in for 70 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and check it for doneness. I love to see the little crack in the center. I think that's pretty. The streusel is nice and golden brown. It's looking really nice. So I'm gonna check with a toothpick. If it comes out mostly clean, that's a good indication. It's looking pretty good. The other thing that I'm gonna do is a instant read digital thermometer. I'm gonna just put this right in the center. And if the reading comes out at 195 to 205 Fahrenheit, that would be 90 to 96 Celsius. We are definitely in the bang zone. This is done. So we're gonna go ahead and take it out. I just wanna say this thermometer, if you don't have one of these instant read digital thermometers, this is something I use and I love. It has saved me from taking bread out of the oven too soon, and that is a sad thing because bread will fall if it's not done and you take it out too early. So we have an incredibly beautiful loaf of pumpkin bread. We're gonna let this cool for about 20 minutes in the pan, and then we'll pull it out and let it just continue to cool on the baking rack. See you in a moment. The bread's been in the pan cooling for 20 minutes. I just want to show you this easy release. So simple. I'm gonna put this aside. I'm gonna go ahead and just peel the sides back on the parchment paper just to allow it to cool easier. This looks amazing. Look at that, how pretty. Now we'll let this come to room temperature. So I've been waiting and waiting. The bread is finally at room temperature, and this is like my favorite part. We get to take a slice, have a look, and try a bite. So here we go. This turned out absolutely beautiful. Oh, so pretty. This streusel topping is just crumbly and lovely. So let's have a look here. This is incredibly soft and moist. Wow, look at that. I, of course, am picking a piece that has a lot of streusel on it. It's my favorite. I don't think this could be any more moist. This is just so tender, and this crumb topping turned out just perfect. If you enjoyed learning how to make this, I have a playlist of quick breads. You should check that out. I look forward to baking with you in the next video.